Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and price and email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on the channel. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the previous generation Breitling Aerospace, part of the professional collection. This is what a real modern-day pilot's watch would look like. I love the GMT and the Speedmaster Pro, but this is real cockpit instrumentation that's useful for an aviator, whether you are an actual pilot or simply an armchair aviator. 42 millimeters in grade 2 titanium. This watch, which was built in 2011 and part of the 2007 to 2012 generation of the model, is extraordinarily thin at 10.4 millimeters thick and only 48.7 millimeters of lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now we have a Breitling Professional 2 bracelet in titanium. I'll throw it on my wrist. It is comfortable with the shape of the lugs, which wrap around the wrist, the lightness of the case, the thin profile, and of course the short lug-to-lug span with pivoted end links. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and normally I would not do that for a watch of 42 millimeters in diameter. It's comfortable, it's flat, all of satin finish, it's fairly discreet, and being low on the wrist, it could be your dress watch as well. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, you can see Pro 2 bracelet, symmetrical links but slash cut, all of satin, removable links fixed by screws. There's a clamshell locking system for the titanium clasp. You can see the old Breitling B winged logo as well as the year of establishment. The timepiece includes several divots drilled in the clasp, so you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet itself. So you have two ways to size: the divots for fine adjustment, the removable links for larger steps. The case is all of satin finish, fairly strong but simple. The mid-case is thin, almost like a vintage watch. The lugs are nicely rounded, but there is a sharp break between the shoulder and the lug hoods. Rolling around to the crown side, you can see that the crown is polished, but the surrounds are satin, and there are beefy crown guards to protect the crown against shearing. The bezel, you'll note the screws outboard, they're all high polished. The bezel is satin. This is a captive bezel. It's held on by the screws, so unlike, say, an Omega or a Rolex bezel, this can't be snapped off by accident. It has to be removed and dismantled using screwdrivers first, so it's tougher. 120 clicks with rider tabs that make it easier to grip. Let's hear the bezel. The 120 click architecture means it's very easy to place precisely. You can line up with the minute hand, and now it is a unidirectional bezel. So with the watch 100 meters water resistant and a unidirectional bezel, it could do as a light duty diver. You'll note there's a polished chimney that separates the bezel from the crystal. This is a feature of Breitling cases designed to improve their shock resistance, so if the bezel gets hit, it doesn't come into contact with the sapphire crystal. It is a very smart solution. You'll also note the dial has a lot going on, but it's nicely laid out with a ray-hot outboard that acts to slope down from the bezel and create a little bit of depth. You have a railroad track for the minutes. You have 4 applique polished quarter Arabic numerals, smaller individual, but you can see they too have height. There is a concentric circular guilloche or agirage type pattern framing a vertical striation at center. Now the watch has 2 digital displays and many different functions. We'll take a quick look at the case back. You can see it features several conversion factors: the Breitling logo, the year of establishment, étanche, 100 metres, and it is a 100-meter water-resistant watch. Talking quickly about the functions of the watch, you cycle through them by turning the crown, and it's second nature to do so. I'll do my best in the light of my light box to actually capture this, but the watch includes analog and digital displays. This is the alarm. The alarm can be set to any time in 24-hour format to sound, and it is quite loud. You can see this is the chronograph. This is the second time zone. This is the countdown timer. You program the time, it counts down, and at 0, it sounds the alarm. And then this is the perpetual calendar. I have the day and I have the date, or I can see constant seconds and I can see the date. I have both digital and analog displays, and if I wish, I can just show one or the other. When I roll the crown slowly, there is a backlight, and the timepiece has a 3 to 4 year power reserve in between battery replacements. It is a watchmaker serviced and lifetime serviceable movement, so it is not disposable. Caliber 79 is based on an ETA thermoline architecture, which means it is both thermocompensated to keep outstanding time, even in hot and cold, but is also a COSC quartz chronometer. These are exceptionally rare. Mechanical chronometers are not, but quartz chronometers, really only Breitling certifies any significant number of those. So with the combination of thermal compensation and the quartz chronometer status, you're talking bare seconds per month in deviation and less than a minute of deviation per year. It is quite a remarkable movement. This is a watch that offers immense value, right down to the electronic minute repeater. So if you can't look at your watch, you can still hear it. Listen up. And if you're wondering why that didn't appear to correspond to the time on the dial has been set separately from the electronic time. Now the watch gives you everything you need, whether you're a ground-bound aviator or an actual pilot, to get started with luxury watches, luxury quartz, and multifunction pilot timepieces. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. I'm back with the aerospace, showing the backlight and the superluminova luminous functions.